race of the GT-MES season at Le Mans. We have a 60-minute race today, slightly longer than the others, because obviously we are at the finale of the season. Again, joining me, had a bit of a break last race, but right by my side again we have Mr. Colm. Say hello.
Hello.
Oh, good to see you again. Right, I'm gonna get my stream up so I can have the comments section ready, and then we'll get going. Right, okay.
As you'll hear, there is no high-tech production value for me today. This is solely just call commentary. I won't take Tay's fire. I won't steal his thunder.
Steal his thunder, yeah. You're alright. Right, so I'm not entirely sure what the situation is concerning the championship going into this. I'll have a quick check of the Discord at the moment. Yeah, let me just have a look.
I'm going to assume it's Zephyr quite clearly in the lead.
We'll have a check.
As far as I'm aware, Zephyr is the only guy who's actually turned up to every race.
Ah, okay, so yeah, he will most likely be there. Right, here we go.
I would be very surprised if he wasn't.
Standings after round 7, indeed. Zephyr is currently leading the championship. In fact, I know there's double points, but I don't believe it's possible for him to be caught. So he's done incredibly well here to stay in the lead. However, in the Group 4, we've got a really close championship with 4 drivers separated by only 17 points. In the top 4 for the title and that. Nil's currently leading that. Only 1 point behind him though is Thunder Pigeon.
An interesting battle to watch out for tonight would be between CSX Benji and Zephyr 96 with GTS Dangerous Nip in there also. I know Benji won the last round at Dragon Trail.
Indeed he did.
I also took an impressive second position.
Sorry, no, it was Nip, wasn't it? That won the last. Oh no, wait,
no,
sorry, I didn't commentate. My bad.
No, Benji won, I believe, and Nip came second.
Right, okay. My bad. I was thinking of Dragon Trail. Sorry. Right.
I think Nip won round 6, and Benji won round 7. I know Benji finished second in one of those races. So that may be the issue. Well, not an issue, that may be the confusion.
Currently holding the fastest lap though, GTS Dangerous Nip, currently actually 7/10 up on the lap he's on right now. We'll see what Zeph has to come back. Zephyr with a 5/10 penalty, so that's not going to do him any good on this. Let's see where Nip is coming to the line. Got the final few corners to come up now. Has he had a bit of slipstream from Benji, do you reckon? Because they are very close on track. Benji dives into the pits, final few corners, keep it nice close to the apex, keep it to the right hand side, kept it quite close to the left actually there, open up the throttle. Where is this going to put him? Ooh, I think he lost a bit of time going into those chicanes. Either way though, it's still 3/10 up, so he's bridged that gap from Zephyr with another penalty. It looks like Zephyr might be struggling a bit with the track limits here. He could have a bit of trouble during the race. Currently seeing Road to Fury. Currently actually ahead of Benji, so interesting development there. Currently,
did you ever find out if Zephyr races for Volex?
Yes, he does. His helmet is the Volex standard model.
So that is Volex Zephyr then, or does he have an alternate name for Volex?
I have no idea. Hang on a minute. Actually, I might be wrong on that because I've just noticed on the bottom of his helmet it's actually intended for Nova. It's Nova's helmet, so I'm not sure on that. He might be. I don't see how he could have got the helmet otherwise. But either way, you know, he might deserve a spot in Volex. He is incredibly quick, as he showed me this league.
Quick driver.
Nip getting a bit squirrely on the exit of the first chicane there, gonna lose a lot of time. Who else have we got?
Nip has actually abandoned that lap. So
yeah. Looking down into the Group 4s, we currently see Farron on top at the moment of the timesheets. followed closely by Nils, only a 10th behind. Impressive for an Alpha 4C, which, you know, we know is not the strongest in a straight line. In 7th place, 1.5 behind last week's, Dragon Trails winner in Doc Shipman. Sitting in 8th place, Thunder Pigeon. I don't think he's put in a legal time yet. Might be wrong on that. And then currently hanging around in 9th on his outlap is Taz 1992. BMW's quite close to each other on track actually, so this might be a little team test going on, trying to get Farron Slipstream on a way. They're both on outlap. Sorry, my bad. But either way, this could be a team tactic.
This could be also the race where the Audi TT comes good, very strong in corners, also being very strong on the straights. It will definitely grip through the Porsche curves better than most.
Absolutely. Seeing them coming through now.
Car isn't fantastic in the low speed corners, but it is very good in medium to high speed corners.
See what's going on at the front of the Group 3s again. Road to Fury. Benji is currently on an outlap, so we're not going to be seeing this lap.
Zephyr's just gone through Tete Rouge on an outlap, so not much to look at there. But Dangerous Nip is coming up to the Porsche curves on what seems to be a quick lap.
We'll see how this
Just
unfolds.
got past
Obviously,
310 now.
quite a light fuel load, so this could be a very potent lap.
Great entry to he's 4 seconds down. So
maybe if he cuts all the chicanes.
Yeah, if he just decides that the 4 chicanes aren't for him.
Yeah, don't exist. Don't know what you're talking about. Right.
I will say Dangerous Nip had what I thought was a fantastic entry into the Porsche curves, but decides then to dip into the pits and forego this lap.
How much? It'll be interesting to see how much he fuels. If he's going to try and underfuel it.
And Road to Fury, the Australian now with a second penalty, but is approaching the Porsche curves.
Has he got any more spots to wear that naturally, or is that going to impede his lap? That's where it's going to come in crucial. Really.
He will be able to burn it naturally through the Porsche curves, but it will also impede his lap definitely.
Let's see, nothing going. Nothing going yet.
No, he's not able to burn it. But he's
look at this though. If he can finish this final sector well, he is currently going to be on pole position, even despite the penalty. So obviously it's only a second. If he's still got that 3/10 advantage, we'll see where it puts him on the line.
So, with that being said, that would lead me to believe that a lot of the cars have a lot more time to find. Because he's currently 4 seconds off of Dangerous Nip. So, is it just that Nip hasn't put in his ultimate time?
Oh, it's a 10th off, so he knows he's got the pace there. The tyres don't look too bad. I reckon he's got room for another lap.
Definitely. My question is though, is this Road to Fury's ultimate pace, or is this just a sign that Zephyr, Benji and Dangerous Nip haven't actually put in their ultimate fast laps either?
Well,
which remains to be seen.
They're all on the softest compound of tyre. Maybe not sure about fuel loads, but from general standards, it looks like they're all going to try their best.
Benji now coming up to the first Mulsanne chicane, so let's stay on board with him and see if he's up on the best time.
Let's have a look.
Bit twitchy on exit, but
Squirrely.
generally a nice. No,
huh?
He's not. He's up.
Blue, but not purple.
Yeah, he's up on his personal, but not enough.
Even the 1 second advantage will not be enough to gain him any position going into this.
Road to Fury also coming to the first Mulsanne chicane. Like Benji a bit on. No, he's the second down.
We'll see where Benji is going through the second chicane. A bit squirrely on entry. Gonna keep the car sliding out.
Bit squirrely on exit as well.
He's gained time. He's currently he was gone from 1.3 to 1.7. So there's time there.
Zephyr now starting his last lap. Just on the approach to the Dunlop chicane.
Ah, 20 minute
Dips
session
one
then.
apex, dips two apexes, very nicely done. Runs a bit wide and gets a 5/10 penalty,
Road to
but
Fury.
that's relatively nothing.
He's might be able to burn that into the chicanes actually.
Yeah. Now on the approach to Tete Rouge.
Just gotta fling it in. Purple!
He's actually, yeah, he's just nearly 2/10 up.
Easy spot to get a penalty there. Will not be a penalty through Tetra Rouge. Very easy to get one, but he's avoided that nicely.
Road to Fury, just on the exit of Mulsanne, looking a bit squirrely, but now is on the long straight approach to Indianapolis and Arnage.
Currently dangerous still on that outlap. Still carrying
Zephyr now doing 5/10 penalty.
Quite wide on the exit. That could disadvantage him. Yeah, he's gone down time all of a sudden from purple to blue, and that blue could be hiding at the exit.
Benji now into the Porsche curves.
Penalties being burned. I don't think Zephyr's got enough in the tank to get pole here.
I don't think Farron's going to be able to set a new lap.
So
No,
look at
Farron is done. No, he's done. He is currently on provisional pole, but Niels is on a quick lap. So the German in the Alpha is on the approach to Indianapolis. Doc Shipman is coming through Arnage as we speak. I'll stick with him.
Neil's getting a bit squirrely on the entry to Indy there. Nothing major, doesn't seem to have cost him any time. Is he going to have enough fuel to get in this lap? Because he's just gone red.
Thunder Pigeon is on the approach to Indianapolis as well. 4/10 penalty. Here comes Doc Shipman into the first Porsche curve. He's going braked a bit too much for my liking, but
I will actually check how long the qualifying
he's gone
session
blue. This is interesting. Doc Shipman has gone blue.
Ooh,
and he's only a 10th down on Taz.
It's gonna be close here to see how the lap unfolds. Still,
Niels has gone blue as well. Just clipped the wall at the Porsche curves as I came on board with him.
That
but he is blue.
Maybe help slow the car down. We'll see how it unfolds through this final sector. We've seen a lot of laps come together and unravel here throughout the course of this qualifying session so far. We'll see how it goes.
He has a second penalty. Niels has a second penalty.
Oh, that's going to cost him everything. He's going to drive into the pits.
No, he's not.
What on? Oh, right. So he's just binned it.
Yeah. Right. All eyes are on Thunder Pigeon now. No, he's got another penalty. That's his lap over.
A lot of people getting penalties out of that exit of Porsche. Said it before and I'll say it again, there's a lot of curbing there, doesn't mean you need to use it.
He's actually gone quicker. He's gone quicker than Farron.
Good stuff from Thunder Pigeon. Yeah, there's the warning, 2 minutes to go. Currently, Dangerous Nip still on pole position. Seeing Road to Fury come down here.
Thunder Pigeon now starting another lap just through the Dunlop chicane. Is coming down to the S's.
Look at this though, I think Zephyr might be about to push something. He's going quite slowly around the Dunlops. If he can start a lap...
You mean the Porsche cars?
Sorry, my bad.
That's okay. I was just making sure we were looking at the right feed. Benji now into the second Mulsanne chicane on his outlap. Thunder Pigeon on his way into the first chicane on a hot lap. So I'll stay on board with him, see what he's doing.
Here we go then. Zephyr. Yeah, I think he'll go with Zephyr for hopefully an entire lap because I want to see how he takes this. He's going to get the bounce out of the chicane now. Opens the throttle.
I think Thunder Pigeon's going to get a penalty for took way too much of that curb on the inside. That's his qualifying done. He's finished.
Right, for Zephyr, dives into the first corner, keep it flat until that first tail board, braking into Dunlop, bring it nice and close to the curbing, make sure your exit's not too wide, bit slippery out there for Zephyr, but it looks to be good.
I'm on board with the number 91 of Johnny Rune 91, and he is... It didn't tell me, but he is just after coming out of the first chicane.
Down at the Tetra Rouge, we're seeing 3/10 down at the moment for Zephyr, not looking good. Of course, he's been the man to beat throughout this.
Taz and Farron both in the Audis are on hot laps. Farron now into Mulsanne. Taz
Right,
just
qualifying should now be over. We've passed the 25-minute mark. Yep, there it is. Everyone here is going to be on their final laps now. Benji's not going to be able to get another one.
Yeah, Benji's timed it wrong. So has Road to Fury.
Diving into the first chicane
Zephyr
now.
seems to be...
That was a fantastic run through the first chicane. Got a bit wide though.
No, he's lost it.
Oh, it's good to catch that. He's going to lose a lot of time though. That was a fantastic entry to begin with.
Nice catch.
Seeing Road to Fury on an out lap, not going to be able to get another lap. Farron is actually on a lap at the moment. What I believe to be the current
coming
pole
up
sitter.
to Arnage. I'm not sure. Yes, he is the current pole sitter. Yep, that is correct. No, it's Thunder Pigeon. Thunder Pigeon is the current
my bad.
GR4 pole sitter, and by a considerable margin as well, 1.8 seconds. I'm very interested by the camber on the Audi of Farron.
Ooh, let's have a look. Did it face? It's very much kind of outwards. See that?
Yes, it's very much positive camber.
Back on board with Johnny though. You'd think the Nissan would be the one to beat here, having the fantastic straight line speed of it.
Zephyr nearly tags the wall. Coming out of Arnage.
This has been a rough qualifying session for Zephyr. Just doesn't seem to be confident enough to get the lap together at the moment. But looking at Johnny, like I was saying, you'd think this would be the car to beat with the Nissan's incredible straight line speed. We're going to see where he is coming to the pole lap. I think this could be a good one. He just has to keep this final section clean enough. 20 seconds to go if he wants to get the pole time. Can he do it? And I'm looking at it now. I don't think it's going to be enough. It's not over yet, but... First chicane. Second chicane. Yep, it's going to bypass him. Whereabouts is he going to be, though? 48, 49, 51, 52, 52.4.
That should put him third or fourth.
So,
Zephyr now to the Porsche curves.
I think it might be fifth. I'm not sure. 2/10 down. He's going to have to make it all count in this final sector.
2/10 down, but still a PB, I believe. Unless I'm mistaken. Am I mistaken?
Looks like a really good set of Porsche curves there. Oh, he's run out of fuel! His fuel's run out, so he's miscalculated. That's really unfortunate for Zephyr. That final sector looked like it was actually going to be... It was certainly going to put him blue or green, I think. Purple might have been out of the question, but he's going to crawl across the line, not giving up with it. He's going to crawl across the line, 54.2. Just think of what that could have been without the empty fuel load. But, either way, Group 3's pole sitter, we have Dangerous Nip, if I can find him. There we are. Dangerous Nip takes pole in the Group 3s for the final race of the season. Could be very crucial here. And then, for pole in the Group 4s, we have Mr. Thunder Pigeon. Good job to him. Is he actually in the title fight? Let me have a look. Yes, Thunder Pigeon's actually in the title fight, massively with Nils. So that's going to do him. That's going to do him a massive amount of good going into this final session. Right, I'm going to go and take a quick toilet break, and I'll be right back with you.
Very unfortunate there for Zephyr, but while unfortunate for him, it's very lucky for the other GR3 racers. And one has to wonder whether this was just a simple miscalculation by Zephyr, or if that Subaru burned fuel more than he would have liked to. as you could see throughout the lap, he was pushing very, very hard. Also, something very interesting to note is the Le Mans first turn, well, second turn, actually, after the first kink, is the Dunlop chicane. This series features heavy damage and multi-class endurance racing, so we could see a lot of races ended by the first chicane. And as you see there, which may be wrong, I actually think it is wrong, but I'll see during this stuck check that this could very well be the case. Let's go on board with no on, it seems, because my camera doesn't want to work. Okay, yeah, see, cars wrecked off the line already.
My bad, sorry. We've got a few stocks by the looks of things.
Yeah, it's Road to Fury.
I think we might need, yeah. Oh, this will be a stock check, maybe.
It is a
Looks
stuck
like
check. Road to Fury,
my
it's
bad.
stuck.
My bad, I thought this was the other race for a second. I'm not paying attention properly, my bad.
So, Mr. Horan, what are your predictions for this race?
I believe it's going to be a close fight between Nip and Zephyr. Couldn't say who would get it, but if I wanted, well, actually no. If I said who, I think it would have to go to Nip at the moment. He just looks to have the pace advantage and the consistency advantage. Group 4, I think one of the Audis, personally, because of the straight line speed. They've got quite a good engine for fuel saving, I believe, so I think it'll be the Audis despite qualifying.
I think with the heavy damage and the overtaking aspect, with this being a longer lap, which means the GR3s will be a good bit faster per lap and will be up to lap the GR4s quite quickly, I think heavy damage will decide this race, and I think we're going to see someone we don't usually see at the top of the grid.
I was speaking with one of the drivers earlier, and he did say that that might come into a component. So from one of those, from what a driver themselves saying that, it looks like your prediction there is going to be is going to definitely play into it.
I think we're going to see a lot of cars crawling back to the pits after lap 1.
I reckon, yeah.
Le Mans infamous for having 6 or 7 chicanes per lap. With the multi-class aspect and such a tight grid at the beginning of a race, I think we're going to see a lot of people in the pits. So those starting at the back may deem it best to just ride out the first few corners slowly rather than going gung-ho and being caught up in the middle of it. It's interesting to note that Zephyr and Benji are the only two out on track, taking up the extra practice time.
A little bit more practice, yeah. Always worth it.
Yep, getting in every kilometre they can. Right, so here we go with the second stuck check. This is to make sure Road to Fjord doesn't get stuck again. And here is your grid. That's not your grid actually.
It's a little bit
grid hasn't been set. I don't think it's set, which kind of I don't understand, but I probably would have said it when Road to Fury was gone, but that's just me.
Right, let's have a look then. Watching an odd pole position from Nils this time round.
Any Stokes? No, they all get away just
Looks
nicely.
clean. Benji? No, Benji's away. No. Oh, it's, sorry,
Benji
Road to
gets
Fury in the
away
background going slow.
fantastically.
Oh, I've turned off the hood. There we go.
Fantastic start from
A little bit
Benji,
wide.
and oh my god.
A few people absolutely seconding themselves. Don't worry about it,
Yeah,
lads.
that was...
All of a sudden, I can't.
Can you go on board with anybody?
No, I had that problem as well.
I can't change my camera.
Yeah, that's a little bit weird. Hopefully fixed by the race.
I'm going to just leave and rejoin.
It should be alright. Most of what we do is from the normal camera angle anyway.
True. I just want to be able to jump on board and look at cars from behind for the slipstream aspect.
Yeah, sorry, okay. Oh. I was gonna say give Colin a minute rejoining. We're just back before I could do anything.
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, I'm back.
Again, same two getting the practice session in. Benji and Zephyr, no one else taking the other.
However, this could be indicative of not practicing where they feel they need to get every second out on the track. It seems that from practice, or from qualifying even, that at least Benji didn't really have the track down to a T.
He was one of the back markers, wasn't he?
Yes, he was very much off the pace.
So it'll be interesting to see how he performs in the race, if he's kind of got his mojo there.
I think Johnny will be someone to watch out for this race.
Good possibility of it. Obviously that GTR is ridiculously quick in a straight line. Depends on how much ballast he has. I will have a look at that in a second. I'll have a look
That
at that
being
now.
said, he is partnered up with Road to Fury, whose SLS will be very quick as well.
Currently...
And Benji.
That's not the one.
Benji looking very squirrely into Mulsanne.
Okay, so
Doc Shipman just planted his NSX into the tyre barrier at
ooh,
Doc
I
Shipman.
just haven't a bit.
He absolutely planted his NSX into the barrier at
Ah, that's interesting. Benji, I think, has a good penalty.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe that's why he has qualified didn't go so well.
Should have that in chat. That's an interesting one. Oh, I'll have a look if I can. Yes, I believe that is the correct order. Yeah, I believe that is. Again, Shipman having a bit of trouble with the chicanes, maybe just having a bit of fun messing around.
Yeah, that's twice now. I don't think he's having trouble. Rather, just
We'll see how he annihilates Mulsanne corner.
yeah. I think this may. I
If
don't
he
think
even
he's even
gets
going to
there.
make that far. Seems he's been driven loopy by a nice drive to the French countryside.
Too beautiful.
Trop-Bay, or Trop-Belle as our French colleagues might say. Benji now starting a hot lap.
Oh, it's weird.
Seems Johnny has a drive-through penalty.
And if what you said earlier comes into play with the stops on lap 1, that won't matter too much.
Yeah, if I were him, I'd be staying back at turn 1.
Keeping himself clean so he doesn't have any damage to repair during it.
Yeah, it's simply just a drive-through that should take him. He's going to lose about 40 seconds regardless.
Yeah,
So
it's a big pit lane here. It's not something you want to be doing.
he could see himself 3 or 4 minutes down if he has to crawl back to the pits.
Got 1 minute till the start of this race. Is this us going? I believe this might be us going very, very shortly. Got a bit longer again. Suppose, yeah. Just here we go then. I think now that everyone is back, we're good to go. Cool, you can wake up now. I think we're getting to work.
Finally.
Alright. Let's get this show on the road, hopefully. I'd just like to make a note that your breathing sounds a lot like snoring.
I'll move the mic further away at my face.
Oh, no worries.
The plan is eventually to completely upgrade the Cosmics broadcast center with a functioning computer and
oh, that'd be awesome to have.
a functioning mic. Well,
Benji's putting in better laps at the moment. Actually, he's gone 3 minutes 49. I believe that's his first venture into the 40s. Zephyr again having trouble with penalties, but here we go for the last time in Season 6. We're about to begin the GT-MES at Le Mans.
So, maybe you might see myself and Mr. Horan beside me as your commentary duo again next season for GT-MES. Perhaps if we can adjust it for maybe an hour earlier.
I do hope so. That'd be quite good.
Yeah.
Right, so we've got
we need.
Dangerous Nip starting from pole position in the Group 3s. Dr. Shipman starting from pole position in the Group 4s.
Happened again.
There's no worries. Here we go then. Wait for the lights. Here we go then. Everyone's gotten away cleanly. We've got Benji rocketing. Oh, sorry, that's Road to Fury. Road to Fury's already taking the lead, and Benji doesn't have to be far behind. Benji comes steaming through. He's got into second place. Gonna make
Taz very slow off the line in the Audis.
I believe that was a bit of contact between. Yeah, Benji's got front damage.
Zephyr has front wheel damage.
So, like you say, a lot of drivers getting impeded off the turn 1. Looks like Doc
Actually,
Shipman's had a bit of trouble off the line.
Benji's hit Road to Fury in the rear.
Yeah, having a bit of trouble with these two. Going side by side in Tetra Rouge. Someone's got to give it up. Looks like it's going to be Road to Fury. Pushed up by Benji.
Dangerous Nip. Dangerous Nip says thank you very much for that.
Benefits from the both of them squabbling.
That's purely on Benji. Tetra Rouge is not a place you try to overtake.
Yeah, it's cost them both a position there. It's not going to be a penalty, I don't think, but as Road to Fury actually got rear arrow damage. So we're going to see him being very squirrely throughout the remaining few corners. Farron's actually left the room. I believe that was a disconnect. I hope it was a disconnect. I hope it just didn't rage quit it. Dangerous Nip getting a massive amount of squirreling through there. Slide right up the right hand side. Not going to have enough straight line speed. That might be the Tig's coming in place. Even in slipstream, I don't think he's not going to stay with him.
I believe that Farron's might be a rage quit. Doc Shipman is now at the back of the Shipman's at the back of the grid with front aero damage and front left damage. So
shame.
So my theory
on
this, yes, my theory is, and this is solely a theory, perhaps Doc Shipman has hit Farron and put Farron in the wall at the first chicane.
I think you might be on something there. Other way around. Here we go then. Benji just clinging on.
It would seem from Doc Shipman's position. No, Farron's back actually. Must be just the DC, and sadly, that's his race over. He might be able to fashion a restart with it being in the first lap, but that is very doubtful. I don't think it's
likely.
Yeah, very unlikely, I would think.
Benji and here getting very not going to be enough. We'll see if Benji might have less weight than Nip, so it might be that he can get him through the corners. Just still looks a bit unstable through there. Right? Even with actually the front aero damage that Benji has, he still looks to be clinging on in there. So I reckon Benji's got a little bit less weight than Nip. Nip just has the more power.
Very close to the wall there to Arnage though. That's something I would recommend.
On a corner like that, you have to be, because it kind of protrudes out there. So.
Yeah, and with the cam.
Yeah, there it is. Disconnection. Real shame for Farron there. He was obviously in one of the favourite cars with the Audi being so confident in a straight line. So look through fools.
That being said, Taz hasn't managed to be able to make up the gap. Neil's still in front of him, but Neil's looking very squirrely. Neil's looking very squirrely through the horse curves.
Thunder Pigeon, like Neil's just clinging on in there at the moment. Benji losing a bit of time. Well, actually, Benji losing a lot of time. Johnny in the pits for that drive-through we saw earlier. Zephyr in the background. All looks to be a bit spread out now. Not much action from the first lap. Not much going on at the moment. Pigeon's ghosted for us. Ah, he's gesturing for a restart because of Farron. It's good sportsmanship there. Not even his, not even his teammate. So it's going to be a brave call. I don't think it's going to go through. We've got people with penalties in the Group 4 class, mainly Nils and Taz. I believe they might be the two closest people to each other on the grid at this very moment in time. Benji has some sort of problem. No. Oh. What's up? There seems to be a lot of chatter going on. Not entirely the most friendly over the endgame chat right now. I think Road to Fury might actually Road to Fury might have actually made contact with. No, he was always behind Zephyr.
No, they still have contact from lap 1.
Right,
I'm not
yeah,
sure
okay.
what that's about. Is this a delayed message, maybe?
Possibly, or, Ah, no, so Benji... Ah, so I was confused. I thought it was a chain of messages to each other. He went down. Okay. Nip, at the moment, just kind of getting out in front there. Nothing really challenging at the moment. Is Zephyr gaining on Benji? I do not believe he is at the moment. Well, obviously Zephyr with that, with the damage you mentioned earlier, still carrying it. I think he's going to go all the way to the pit lane with it, personally. Everyone but, actually, yeah, everyone but Nip in the Group 3 class currently has damage. So Nip has actually a advantage here that he can make useful. I think we're going to get a restart to this race because of an unfortunate disconnect from Farron. Yoni... Oh no, my bad, sorry. Yoni got damage. No. Did Yoni get damage early on? Yep, there it is. The goal's been made. We are restarting this race.
I'll be honest, that's not a decision I agree with.
Yeah. I won't shed my opinion on it. Obviously, they've made their decision, so...
Yeah, I'm...
Oh, that's weird.
Perhaps there is a thought process behind it that I don't understand, but nearly 10 minutes into the race, I probably wouldn't have restarted it. That's just me though.
Yeah. However, hopefully with this we might get a bit more of a, an exciting race, because really after the first corner, everything just kind of died down. There wasn't... Everyone had about a second gap to each other, so... Hopefully with this start we'll get a bit more action going on. Johnny's just been told to ready up. And there it is. Johnny's in the race. Should be starting very, very soon. Yep, no stop check. Nils, everyone in. Ah, so maybe Sota is missing and he hasn't filed a missing report, so he might just be trying to get him in this short period of time that he can. Let's go on board with Benji. It's obviously, that's been on track, probably the most here. Time to though, because we're straight into the race again. Right, here we go. Hopefully, for the first and last, oh, sorry, hopefully for the last time tonight, we're going to say is the finale of Mixed Endurance, the GT Mixed Endurance Series. Nip on pole in the Group 3s, and Shipment on in the Group 4s. Should have, hopefully, a pretty good race this time round. Waiting for the lights to come on. Here we go then, and the Mercedes seem to get a lightning start off the line. Benji already moving up into second place. There's something of a pattern emerging here with the Mercedes going into turn 1. Let's see how they think about it. Benji might make a move for the lead here, and he is! He's gone a bit wide, he's going to have to concede that position. That's a shame for him, it looks like he had the position going to the corner. Might lose it to Nip here unless he takes the inside. No, it's not going to be enough. He won't be able to go side by side. Nip gets into second place. Benji maybe just a bit overzealous on the brakes, or on the throttle, sorry. Everyone with a very clean start into there. Zephyr on the back of Yoni at the moment. This could potentially him up a bit. Zephyr running a bit wide in hopes of getting a better run. It might get him a penalty, might not. Run away cleanly then. Group 4 class looks closer. There was someone at the back there actually, firing with a 5/10 penalty and just a bit more distance from the rest of the field. And obviously they all have the slipstream train, so it's gonna be hard for Farron to get close to this train again. 3 wide into the first chicane there for the Group 3s, very nearly chaos. Shipman gets a big tail slide on, just about correct, and somehow holds off the horde of Group 4s behind him. Awesome defending from Mr. Shipman there to be able to hold that pack for so. Benji closing back up on Road to Fury. He might have him here into the chicane. It's going to go side by side. It's going to be under braking if he's going to do it. Obviously he went wide last time. Coming into the second chicane, and he's got it done under braking. Road to Fury seemingly just kind of kicking off there. No need to fight this early in the race. It's a 1 hour. Remember, folks, 1 hour. How close is this gone again? Yeah, Shipman, Nils and Thunder Pigeon. Farron's now in on the mix. Taz appears to have broken away a bit. Group 4s all seem to be in this massive undividable train, and this is awesome stuff for entertainment.
Fury thinking about a move on Benji into Mulsanne corner. Of it.
He's backed out of it, which gives actually Zephyr the opportunity to get a bit closer, losing time on the exit though. We'll see what these two. Shipman goes for a move on Nils. That is for the championship. I just remembered that, sorry. Who over the other in this race? 1 point. Nils holds the advantage, but Shipman has just gone through, and that is a crucial move to make. He needs to hold on to that for dear life now. He can't let Nils through under any circumstances. Him just getting in a bit. Might try win the radar. It's going to be side by side. Nils just backs out of the move. Shipman takes the middle of the road, just keeps it defensive. And I think for now, that is the position secure for Shipman. Then again, Nils got that really good exit speed. Thunder Pigeon going down the inside there. Doesn't quite work, but he's costing Nils time. Is that a clever little move there in the team to try and put off Nils? Maybe I'm thinking too much into it, maybe not. We'll have to wait and see. Benji actually closing up quite well to Dangerous Nip here. He's going to lose a bit of time into Porsche. I think he took the wide line into the very last corner. But he's still there, 5/10 behind. Obviously we've been with the power advantage. Road to Fury. That might allow Zhao to go through. Just blocks him off a bit, 5/10 penalty. This is going to be close into the final few chicanes. Zephyr can have him on exit here if he just piles enough pressure. Yeah, he's going to go for the exit line. Watch this. Might just didn't have enough room to pull out. He's going to have to stay in the slip. Up to the first corner, just near the 10th. This is where that kind of time zone is where it's safe to go for the move. I think it's just side by side, not quite. Zephyr backs out. He's going to have the better entry into the run down to Tatra Rouge here. Let's see if he can pull out onto the move. Less than a 10th nearly. Not quite. Not quite going to have the capacity to make a move. He could have him down into the Honda Ares though. Back up with the front two, still as close as ever. Just 4/10 separating them now. Massive trade of the Group 4s. This is all the Group 4s together. And Nils and Shipman going side by side. Again. Oh, sorry, is
Benji
it...
now close enough to think about a move into the first chicane.
I think he'll do it, personally. He needs to for position.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't even have the speed.
No, he's going for it. Could be contact, a little bit of contact there. Benji.
Foolish move.
Very nearly spins the car, keeps it in check. Everyone's come out okay, no damage to anyone. But obviously that was very nearly something bigger.
Zephyr now red on the diffuser of Road to Fury as well.
So my bad, it was actually Thunder Pigeon fighting for the title, which means Nils is going to have to make up some positions to win this fight. Speaking of Nils, Farron's just come out of nowhere. That could cost him a really crucial amount of time. That was a really poor move, in my opinion, from Farron there. Rightly so, he's going to let Yoni through. Just way too much speed in there, too much confidence. And now Nils nearly 2.5 seconds behind his closest championship rival. Of course, if it crashes out or makes a mistake, it'll cost him position. And remember, they've got four drivers.
Benji's overtaking.
Oh, we missed that, sorry.
Dangerous Nip for the lead of the race.
He's got the top speed advantage, so this should be pretty easy coming back into Indy. Sorry, I have a bit of hiccup. Let's have a look. So we have in the yeah, there it is. Nip just goes through. I think Benji tries to hold it a little bit, but nothing he can do. In the Group 4 Championship, we did have 4 drivers separated by 17 points, and in order from the bottom, we have Doc Shipman, Farron 79, Thunder Pigeon, and Nils leading. Interestingly, I think didn't think it was all in the battle. Yanni goes back down to last position. No, sorry, he has let through in the past. Kind of losing my memory a bit. Here we go then. Is Benji going to try it into the Porsche curves? It'll be a brave move if he tries it. He's going to have to pull at the very last second. Is he gaining enough? I don't think he is. Yeah. Less than a tenth now. Not close enough yet. He won't be able to try it. We'll see how the exit goes for both of the drivers. Benji's still inside there. Is he going to try a cutback on the exit over the Porsche curves? Ooh, I think he just gave him a tap there. I think Benji might have just given him a small tap, and now a gap has opened up. Slipstream isn't broken yet, but if Nip can hook up these last few corners, and Benji, the toe has been broken. Let us see. 7 tenths. If he gets to over 8 tenths, toe's broken. Benji stays within it. He's actually gained time, quite a lot of time. Throughout that, he takes the fastest lap of the race by half a tenth. So he's got to get down to 3 tenths because of that amazing run from the inside. I thought Benji would maybe just spring for a move, but not quite. If I just... No, okay. Just trying to check my camera so I could get the opposite angles running. It's annoying me a bit now. See, still Benji just staying right there with Nip. Could have him down into that first chicane again. We've seen him do it once, didn't quite go to plan, but great. For that, anything can happen. Back down to Group 4s. Taz and Shipman, both quite close together, both with penalties. So I'm not sure they want to fight this. Shipman gets all sorts of squirrely on the entry, manages to correct it. Nils now gets the chance to hunt down Thunder title, remember. None of them with a toe at the moment because Yogi's going to break it very, very quickly. Looks like that Honda actually has quite an advantage. He's gained a good few tenths through the corners. I don't... From these early stages of the race, it looks like Nils won't be Jimmy. It looks like he has quite a big pace deficit to Pigeon. Oh, there's a massive gap emerged from Benji and Nip. 1.4 seconds. I think Benji's made a mistake there because he's got a penalty as well. So there's certainly something going down there. And the toe is now broken, so it's going to entirely rely on Benji's cornering ability. Because if I'm right, that BMW will start gaining on the straights soon. I think is now. No, I think that's from what we saw in the straight, they looked to be quite uneven in terms of it. The Mercedes looked to have more cornering ability, and then Nip looked to have the upper hand on the straights. But here we go, Benji still pulling Nip in. We've got kind of Zephyr in the background there. Been a bit of a dummy one for him. He's losing time gradually to Benji and Nip in front. Maybe it's because of the toe, maybe it's because obviously we've seen Zephyr struggling. Less than a second separate them now. It's still not toe region, but it could be close down into this final few corners. Still closing the gap. There it is. Benji back within slipstream range. If he gets the exit down here, he's really set for a good run. 112, 6 tenths separate the two now. definitely getting a bit squirrely behind them. Where's Road to Fury in all this? Road to Fury in a bit of an island at the moment, no one really close. Thunder Pigeon actually seems to have... Nils actually seems to have made the gap a bit closer, I think. Not by too much. Shipman in the background, quite close to Taz, 5-10 separate the two. That Honda's going to have a big advantage into the into Indianapolis though, because of, like you say, Colm, the advantage you get from the Honda compared to the Audi. Farron, been a bit of a miserable one here. Had an incident with, I think it was Doc Shipman, fairly early on. And then he's just not been able to recover since 9 seconds down. Seems to be growing, or shrinking, my bad. Benji's gap stabilised a bit to Dave, actually growing from Nip at the moment. We take a look at the fuel though. That could be an interesting strategy in this race. Currently close to 10 minutes gone, about 12 minutes to be exact. And most cars, in fact, no, Nip's been fairly aggressive on the field. We see a lot of other drivers with close to half, but we see Nip now very close to a quarter. So it'll be interesting to see how his strategy plays out and how he's going to handle that. Obviously, he might actually get jumped in the pits of the extra pit length. Don't think there's any major battles going on around the field. The field have been separated out. Yeah, Nip has broken the slipstream range to Benji again. Slipstream range is close to 8/10s, kind of the opening 8/10s region. So come down to that, if any, that the driver behind will have the advantage. Nip currently on the fastest lap of the race. Maybe that's the low fuel count coming into account. Looks like Benji might just be evening out here. The tyre wear doesn't look too bad, but on Benji it's marginally lower. I don't think it's enough to make a difference, but it is marginally lower. Still nothing really too close going down in the Group 4s. It seems like Thunder Pigeon gains a massive amount of time through the opening set of this track. And then from there on out, it's pretty even, if I'm not mistaken. Nils has a massive advantage in a straight line. I think he's just got the power ballast advantage. You see him coming through the corner here now, though. Yeah, he seems to lose time in the corners. Thunder Pigeon with a 5% penalty there. No, he's not going to serve that. Wise choice. You're not forced to in this series. If he did that now, he'd most likely bring himself with a slipstream range of nils. Slipstream range again for these two, Nip and Benji. I think Nip just about broke it on the exit there. Benji getting a lot more time through the corners than dangerous Nip. Looks to have had not the best advantage. Let's see where Benji puts himself on the final bit of the lap. We would go on board, watching the cameras are broken. Consistent 5-second to 3-second gap throughout the Group 4 field, apart from Farron, probably having that mistake early on. 5 tenths now separate the top two. As we approach, I think, yes, that'll be a quarter of this race has now gone, and we've only done close to 3 laps. We're coming on to obviously the end of the 4th now, but it's not been a particularly exciting race so far. We've obviously had a few moves. Dangerous Nip dives in. Benji has enough fuel to go around again. Sorry, kind of mumbling around in words. Can Benji pull off the overcut, sorry, here, or is Nip gonna manage to overcut him? It'll be interesting to see how his fuel comes at the end of the race, if he'll have to fuel save it. then every bit of his advantage will be gone, and he'll have to just purely come to defence. Or if he overfuels and starts fuel saving here, it'll be interesting to see. We'll wait until he comes out of the pit lane. No, not taking on tyres, interesting. I'm not sure if that's going to cost him a bit of time catching up, but it'll be... we'll have to wait and see, obviously. It comes out of the pit lane 34 seconds behind Benji. We'll see where it comes out at the end. Meanwhile, in Group 4, has anyone closed up to each other? Does not look like it. Thunder Pigeon still seemingly with the pace advantage. 1.9 second penalty. He's going to keep racking these up at the moment. It's going to be a difficult one now because you don't want to cost yourself time at the end of the race wearing them off. It doesn't look like there's many places to wear them off naturally on this track. So it's going to come down to... he's got a 4.2 second gap at the moment. The penalty is 1.9. If he serves it now, coming down to these few corners, he'll be able to get rid of them and not cost himself so much time. I would personally do it right now just to avoid any extra hassle at the end of the race.
Cometh.
I think... hope Colm's alive. Okay, I think...
Yeah.
Ah, okay, good. I think someone in chat is asking if you had died.
I wish.
Ask.
Oh, it's Benji. Surprise, surprise. Get back to racing.
Yeah, should you not be racing?
Yeah, especially this important part of the race. Benji needs to perform an overcut here, and I believe the gap is about
Jimmy, about an hour ago, Jimmy asked, "Can he join?"
Oh, that's a friend of mine. Don't worry about that.
So, no.
Sorry,
knows the answer to that question.
I've got
That's okay.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have been allowed to join anyway. I would have bullied him out of the party.
We're just gonna.
That was a joke, ladies and gentlemen. I wouldn't have bullied him out of the party. But
Oh, that is just calm as a person. Don't worry about it. Now, there is this Nip. The gap at about 34 seconds. It will go into the pit with less Nip. Nip was still in the white zone and going in. He actually, Zephyr, qualifying lap at about this level of fuel this time in qualifying. So is Benji going to lose time in the pit lane by just running out at the entry? Because obviously you still have to navigate it through that pit chicane before you make it in. I think he'll just about have enough to make it in cleanly. It's going to be a close shave though, and he's going to have to fuel for a bit longer than Nip. But he might need to change tyres as well. If he changes tyres, I definitely think he will come out behind Danger Nip.
Well, he will anyway, because he's only 35 seconds ahead. It's definitely 40 plus in the pits.
Now that was the gap. 34 was the gap when Benji pitted. Sorry,
Yep.
when Nip pitted. My bad.
Nip should be in the lead.
We'll see. Where's Benji then? We're gonna go with Dangerous Nip. See what position he comes out in. Through the chicanes. Final
It's
corner.
because
Yeah.
I made a mistake.
Nip
and
is
he
already
didn't
through and
say
Benji's
thanks.
only fueling up. He's going to be about 15 seconds behind.
Nip comes out in the lead. You were right, Colin. It's not gonna. No, it's gonna be quite a margin. 5, 6.
It's about 7, 8
I think
seconds.
it's gonna go to 8. No, my bad. Okay.
5.5. Okay, not the 15 I suspected, but still, that's a loss of about. That's a loss of about 7 seconds.
We've got Yoni. Obviously, he's already pitted. Neil's gonna go in this lap. Yoni's just gonna glide through with complete ease. Taz and Farron. Farron looks to be
face.
closing the gap up. I know, Matthew, he needs to get back to driving. He's just lost the lead, so... Benji now 7.6 behind Nip from a gap previously of less than a second. So like he says, must have made a mistake somewhere. And even with those old tyres on the BMW of Dangerous Nip, he's still setting up sectors. If I'm not mistaken, Benji's fastest lap would have actually been pole position in the race. Maybe that's because of the slipstream. Hang on a minute. Where is Thunder Pigeon? Okay, so this will be interesting to watch. 45 seconds behind. 4. It'll be interesting to see if Nils can get Thunder Pigeon caught out on the fuel strategy, because that Alpha is very efficient on the fuel and tyres. The Honda is not so, being... Both cars are MR, but the 40 just has the upper hand of being light, agile, doesn't put too much weight on its components. So it'll be interesting to see if during the pit phase, the gap is now 50 seconds. But then again, personally, I don't think Nils will be able to do it, but it could be close. I'm just going to try and build that gap now. He's obviously got what looks to be a much quicker Benji from the qualifying. Very nearly throws it all away, coming into Arnage. It's very close to the wall. Doesn't quite tap it, I don't believe. Nope, gaining time. Fury, unfortunately for Johnny. Well, actually no. Johnny, unfortunately, has a 30-second gap to Road to Fury at the moment, so I don't think there's much he can salvage from that. I think the early stop-go screwed him over for this one, because obviously with the car he has, he would have had a big advantage going in here, but just hasn't been able to make anything of it. Gap is now gone down to 49 seconds. So this might actually be on for Nils. So you see Thunder Pigeon going through Indy and then on. Benji looks to be closing up the gap from his earlier dance with gravel at Arnage. Gets a good exit, drops the 2/10 immediately. .3 now separates the two title contenders for Group 4.
Benji's in the wall.
Has Benji gone? Benji's gone! I think he's got the power a little bit too early and he's just blown himself after the girl. Very reminiscent of what Lotterer did in 2015, I believe it was. Really unfortunate.
Just understeered off into the wall, lost the rear end, and from there it was all zero.
Really unfortunate for the Maltese driver. He looked to have the pace advantage going into this race. Well, not during the race, he looked to have the pace advantage, and now on pit strategy and fuel consistency, it's all gotten away from him. Thunder Pigeon now in the pit lane. How is it going to affect it? Nils been 48 behind. I don't think there's going to be a change of leadership for Group 4 here, but it could. I might be wrong. Tyres go on. Fuel goes in. How much are you going to go to? Where's Nils during all this? Currently into the chicanes. Going to be close, I think, between the two. Pigeon's out. 100%. Where's Nils? Oh, he's only going down the back straight, so the gap is going to come down to It's not going to come down at all, actually. It's gone to 5 point. It's going to go even further down. 5.2 is what the gap's going to settle at. So now Nils, if he can keep with him, Nils knows he has the undercut possibility combined with the better fuel economy. This could really be on for Nils here. On the fuel strategy, he could be about to win the title. It's very possible. It might not happen, it might just be me hypothesizing. But I personally believe there's a good chance of it on the fuel strategy. Then again, see it there. Thunder Pigeon gained so much time out of Tetra Rouge. Maybe it's confidence, maybe it's the weight. Gap to Nip and Benji is now 10 seconds, just decreasing from that. Benji again in the gravel. Really not looking like very confident, and I know why actually. He's got rear aero damage, so that's really going to unsettle his car.
Rear aero and right or left rear damage.
He still looks to be catching Dangerous Nip in most parts of the track, so it'll be dependent on whether he feels confident to stay. If he really doesn't feel like he can keep the car on track, especially through this section, he's downforce. The car doesn't look too squirrely, so maybe he's carry on. He's ultimately still he's still catching Nip in a few places. He's not there. He's dropped a few tenths there. But I don't know. He might pit in, might not. Where is he gonna go? He's gonna do it. He's pitting in. I don't believe your fuel will last the next half hour. So I think this is just gonna be a pit stop to as long as he can get it. We'll see where he comes out. He could actually be under threat hit from Yoni. See where Yoni is. He's got actually nah. Obviously Benji's got a good abundance of fuel at the moment, so I think he'll still have the lead over Yoni. Is he going to fuel at all? Yeah, he's going to put some fuel in the car. I don't think Yoni's going to get him, because it's only going to be a short fuel stop, I reckon. Yeah, there it is. Already out, by the looks of things. Oh, no. Here he is then. Where is Yoni? He's coming down the main straight. So the gap is very similar to what we saw with Nils and Thunder Pigeon. Speaking of the two, that gap's come down to 4.2. This could really be trouble for Thunder Pigeon now. He has more fuel. I think he might just be fuel saving. But obviously, that Alpha looks better on the fuel economy, so it'll be massively dependent on if Nils can keep that undercut working. Big extension for Thunder Pigeon there. That's going to net him a penalty because he's going to gain it. Yeah, he's going to gain a lot of time through there. Only 5 tenths penalty again. Doesn't seem quite right. I'm giving it more personally, but obviously we are not the in-game stewards. Zephyr now moves to 2nd place behind Nip. Rota Fury has actually just gone purple by 2 tenths on his current lap. We'll see how that unfolds. 5.2 behind Zephyr and currently catching. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Yoni 7.5 behind Benji, so the gap's definitely increased from there. Big tail slide, that's going to lose him a lot of time on the exit. Will's been getting on. Characteristically, again, Thunder Pigeon looks to just have a bit more bravery, or just something that keeps powering him through. Tetra much Nils, but the gap is still under 4 seconds. And that fuel is becoming ever more equal, I believe, so we'll see. Should probably close my curtains, a few moths outside. .4, 4.5 at Kane. Looks like the Honda actually, I think I've worked it out, hopefully. The Honda might just be better on that corner exit than the Alpha. Looking at Zephyr, is Road to Fury still purple, I wonder? We're going to see on this lap. Very twitchy through Portico, I'm not sure if that's just the end game. Going a bit wide out there, it's going to net him a penalty, but obviously it's a race. So that won't disqualify or add time to his lap. Into the final few canes now. Timer shows 42. I don't think it's going to be it personally. It's going to come to the line. Some time somewhere actually. So I don't know where I saw him purple because he seems to be about a second down on that lap. Or a second and a half, sorry. Unless he made a mistake. One of the corners. Zephyr looks to be gaining time on Dangerous Nip. Nip's fuel and tyres are both currently shot, so he will come in this lap. Fuel is actually looking in the danger zone because we saw Zephyr, again, that amount, the last time he went into the pits. Oh sorry, the last time he went into qualifying, he was on that amount of fuel. So he might put a lot of time, and possibly the race, under a fuel miscalculation. It's already gone red, so the fuel is already showing danger signs. Yawning into the pits. 3.9 now separates Thunder Pigeon and Nils. So the gap looks to be ever decreasing actually. Where's the fuel at now? I think the fuel is actually equaling up between the two championship contenders because they both look to have only a segment between them. And that was definitely more than that before we went into this. Going into the Porsche curves, we see 3.6 seconds on that gap. 3.7. Honda looks to be just better through the high speeds, I think. I'm not a hypothesis about whether Honda's too quicker or. Yeah, there it is. That gap's gone from 6 to 4 in one sector. So I think it is just the high speed corners. Thunder Pigeon just seems to have that massive upper hand, keeping him within safe distance at the moment. Big tail slide out there for Nils. That is going to cost him some time, I think. Zephyr closing down that gap now quite rapidly because Nip's. I think Nip's going to run out of fuel here. If you look at his,
it looks like it.
If you look at his fuel
Looks
gauge,
like he's going to run out of fuel.
There's nothing there. It's going to have to be fuel map 6, but he doesn't look to be losing that much time on a straight. I am standing corrected. Time on that straight. Even in fuel map 6, that bar is coming down so quickly. He might just cost himself the race here to Zephyr. It'll be an awesome way for Zephyr to round out the season. It'll be a dismal way to round out Nips.
He actually might end up coming up behind Benji.
This is going to be really tight for the current race leader.
Gap to Benji is 38 seconds.
He's going to have to take tyres and fuel.
Yeah. And he
That's
is
run out.
cruising along.
That's nothing left in that tank, I don't think. I think there's maybe like a pixel. But he's still gaining speed.
Yeah, he's on empty.
Well, here we go then. Let's see. He's still got speed. He might actually make it into the pits. Yeah, I think he will. Incredible.
He should.
Right, where's the car? Incredibly, Dangerous Nip has just made it around a lap with less than a quarter tank of fuel, and the car made it through superbly. That's amazing stuff from Dangerous Nip there.
Benji's gone purple and is just coming through the Porsche curves.
Yeah, he will definitely go through here then.
Yep. We could have 4 or 5 seconds on Dangerous Nip, who hasn't hit
It'll
the
be
pit
more than
box
that.
yet.
It'll be more than that, definitely.
He's just hit the pit box now.
Because
Benji coming up to the pit lane.
He's going to change
Through the
tyres.
first,
He's going to have to
through
go
the
up to
first
100%.
First forward chicane, second forward chicane.
100% fuel coming onto the pit lane. He's going to have him by at least 10
It's
seconds
gonna be
here.
close. No,
No,
it won't be. It'll be close. It will be.
Oh, it...
See, out comes Nip. Benji's just gone by. It's gonna be 5 seconds.
4.5 I reckon I'll call.
Close to it, yeah. 4.3.
Gap. There you go then.
Yeah, it's actually coming up.
On pretty even ground.
4.9.
As it comes to
yeah, 4.9.
these two are pretty close when it comes to their fuel and tyre situation. So this, I think, is a battle of pure pace. Who has the upper hand here? Benji has slightly more worn tyres, but I don't think that amount of wear makes a difference. Zephyr then currently leads this race. He will be pitting in this lap. Dangerous Nip has 34 seconds of a gap, and he's actually going down quite quickly. So Zephyr might lose the lead again here. We're to Fury 8 seconds to him. I think he might just follow Zephyr in. I don't think he's got the capacity for another lap to make it round, otherwise he's going to have a situation very similar to Nip's. That's reminded me actually. Gap between Nils and Thunder is now 4.5. But it looks like the fuel actually, I think Thunder might have gained a bit of an advantage here. Nils might be able to stay up for one more lap. It depends. Is he going to go in now? No. He's going to stay at one more lap then. I think
Benji now actually increasing the gap to Nip. Increased it by 0.2 of a second.
Looks like Benji then seems to hold that pace advantage, but like seeing the rest of this race, his consistency seems to be a little bit missing. He's been struggling a bit with his general on the track. So 0.6 of a second, he's up in purple. That'll put him in the 47s and in there quite cleanly. In fact, Zeph is in an almost identical situation to Dangerous Nip here. The fuel is... I think the fuel is actually identical to what it was last time. Maybe just a little bit higher. See how it is coming out of the Dunlop... not Dunlop. The Porsche curves. Yeah, again, by a thread, he will make it into the pits without stalling or running the car out of fuel. So, some incredibly good fuel saving going on in this race. Not much actual racing, though. We've not seen much side by side. Gap to Nils and Thunder.
Zephyr's in. Zephyr has no fuel. The Fury is in. 9
he's followed him.
litres.
He's followed him.
9% in.
Where's Benji in all this then? 27 seconds separate the two. Benji will go back into the
Benji
of
will
this
take
race.
the lead. Yeah, Benji will take the lead.
So this has been a miraculous recovery for the Maltese driver. He's gone from, you know...
Not really. He needs to stop again.
That's a good point. My bad. How much of a gap will he have? In fact...
As will Nip, this could work out well for Zephyr.
So I think, yeah,
Well for Zephyr.
Zephyr obviously...
Yeah, fuels to the end. That's a smart decision.
Zephyr obviously had the upper hand after the two drivers that were in front, Benji and Dangerous Nip, had made mistakes consecutively. Both maybe one strategic, one physical. So it's going to be Zephyr on the best strategy here. If he can make it work, that is the question.
If I were Zephyr now, I'd be putting my car into fuel map 3 and riding out the rest of this race. He's only 15 seconds behind Ben Jeeves and 10 behind Dangerous Nip, but it will see him avoid having to lose 40 seconds into the pits.
My attention right now is on Nilsman 2002. Gap is currently 4.2 going into what will probably be his final of the race. That's obviously going to go up through the push curves, as we've seen. Thunder Pigeon with the advantage. If he can do this undercut, it will be a very, very smart call from Nils.
I'm not sure if it's an undercut, to be honest, because Thunder Pigeon has about
2
close
laps
to
of fuel
half a
left.
tank. Thunder Pigeon has about half a tank, I'd say, and Niels is running on empty.
So he's going to go in this lap. He'll have
he's
2 laps. Oh, actually that's huge. Thunder Pigeon taking a massive off at the second Ford chicane. That's played out perfectly in Nils' hands now. So he's going to lose
he's going to still be at least 50 seconds ahead, I think. Niels also picked up a 2-second penalty on his entrance to the pits, it seems.
So that'll be 5 seconds over on his total roster. Thunder Pigeon looks to be really struggling now. He's just had to skip the Dunlop chicane. His consistency appears to be running away from him here. Yep, 2-second penalty for his woes.
Yeah, well,
It's looking very like... Look, his tyres are dirty. He's really struggling to stay on track at the moment. This is
fresh
really...
boots for Niels.
This
And it goes
is
to
really,
fuel.
really bad for Thunder Pigeon. He needs to get his act together very, very quickly. Otherwise, he will lose this championship, I think. There it is, 41 seconds.
That's
Thunder
a pit
Pigeon's...
stop, it seems. You see, the issue is he's lost his advantage, but he still has a pit stop lead, so as it stands, he's okay, but...
It'll be tight. It'll be tight for it. Hopefully, we'll have a race to the end. So, the other thing is, I'm just looking at the tyre situation now. Thunder Pigeon's tyres don't look too bad for 2 laps to go.
Benji's in for his last stop.
Where is Mr. Benji? There he
He's in.
Nip stays out for another lap. He obviously has the gap too.
Yeah.
He's going to lose it to Zephyr and possibly Road to Fury as well.
Yeah, Zephyr is in the lead and should win this race.
I'm interested to see where Road to Fury comes out in all this.
Road to Fury will pass Benji as well. Benji's only putting fuel in now. Road to Fury is passed already.
Yeah, so Benji with a lot of work to do here if he wants any chance of getting a podium position.
He should take the podium position when Dangerous Nip pits in.
Okay.
That's granted, he doesn't make any mistakes. He did have a 5-second lead. Now the ball is back directly in Zephyr's court. I would be fuel saving like a madman if I were him. 15.5 minutes to go.
That's 5, maybe 4, 3. That'll be 4 laps, I reckon. Meanwhile, where are Thunder Pigeon and Nils in all this? Currently, I believe Nils might have the upper hand here. Because 38 seconds.
Yeah. Thunder Pigeon has lost his pit stop advantage.
So
if he were thinking on his feet, he would pit in now and get out of the way, get onto fresh tires as soon as possible.
So quite possibly the most costly mistake a driver can make at the worst possible time a driver can make a mistake. Thunder Pigeon obviously is the closest rival to Nils in the championship. If the race was to finish as it were, Thunder Pigeon would take the Group 4 championship. However, on the pit strategy, Nils could steal this from him, as obviously the current leader by a single point.
It will be very close.
Going very wide there. That's going to get him another 5/10 penalty.
No,
He's gonna have
yeah, okay.
Have a lot to wear in this race. He's not going to go in.
No, he's staying
out.
That's going to lose him the race, I think. That's another 4 minutes on those tyres he has to last.
Is that quite possibly the decision that changed the championship? Oh, sorry, that decided it. Nils with actually the same amount of, pretty much the same amount of penalty as Thunder Pigeon. They both have about 2.8.
Thunder Pigeon is going to have to put in an absolutely fantastic lap this time round and then get in and out. His fuel will not last.
No way.
Needs, it seems, to be caught up by the wet transfer of that Alpha.
Let's have a look then.
Negotiates the four chicanes relatively nicely, and it's now down to under 37 seconds. Thunder Pigeon is going to need a fantastic end to this lap.
Meanwhile, with Benjit's recovery going on, he's currently within 6.7 seconds. The gap has shrunk to Road to Fury.
He didn't take tyres when he pitted in.
No, so he's currently on the less worn ones. A little bit lighter fuel than Road to Fury, but I don't think it's going to make too bad of an advantage.
No, because it won't make any difference because the tyre wear. Tyre wear is what harm Benji more than fuel.
Again, Nip just grazing by on his fuel load.
And that sees Zephyr into the lead.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. The Group 3 champion back in his rightful place.
Roughly about 3 laps left, maybe 3.5, 4. Zephyr with 3/4 of a tank, or 2/3 of a tank it looks to be.
And only a few corners actually. Benji is caught Road to Fury by about 4/10. So this could be quite a close battle.
Is now out.
Behind.
And Benji has about 5 seconds. Yeah, that's relatively similar to what it was when they pitted in.
But look though, much softer tyre, much more competent tyres than Benji.
Yeah.
So
I think that's going to cost Benji, personally.
With 10 minutes to go, it's going to be close.
All Nip has to do now is manage the car for the next 10 or so minutes.
And it'll catch him naturally.
Yeah, he's lifted and coasted into chicane, intelligent. If I were him, I'd be straight up the gears that I came out of that chicane. I'd be straight into 6th. And he's coming up to lap Farron as well.
Gap to Road to Fury, 5.6 to Benji.
Those Audis weren't as powerful as we thought they would be.
It's unfortunate for them. They looked to, theoretically they would have been the other one with the advantage, but unfortunately it just hasn't played out in their cards. Blue flag being shown now for Farron. I think this is for, this is for Zephyr. All of a sudden it has actually gotten fairly close between the front 4 Group 3s. We've got a 7-second gap which looks to be actually coming down a bit between Zephyr and Road to Fury. We've got Benji closing in on Road to Fury, and then we've got Nip closing in on Benji, closing into Road to Fury. It's a bit of a mind-boggler, but it's all coming to, it's all coming down on the final lap. Meanwhile, here is the most important pit stop tonight. Thunder Pigeon into the pits.
He only lost 2/10 of a second over the remainder of that lap, so
it could still be on. Hopefully, we might be able to see a really close race to the line. We know that Thunder Pigeon has a general pace advantage to Nils, I believe, especially for the high-speed corners. Where is Nils through all this? Just exiting the Porsche curves. A little bit wide, that's going to get him another penalty. These two have really been racking up the penalties throughout this last session. Could cost one of them the race, possibly.
That could determine the race.
Yeah, the penalty rights.
For Nils.
ideally, you really...
And he's gonna get another one there.
That might be a big one because we've not...
Yeah, that's a second.
5 seconds.
5 seconds he has now in penalties. And out comes
How
Thunder
are
Pigeon.
they? Thunder Pigeon has the advantage, so that he's managed to do it. Incredibly, Thunder Pigeon, with so many mistakes on that last lap, comes out with the advantage. What a strategy from Thunder Pigeon.
He's going to have to absolutely gun it now.
Nils has been rattled. I don't think he's got the chance here.
Neil's running wide again. That's another penalty. It's over, my friend.
And I think that's it. Don't call it till the check flag, but Thunder Pigeon looks to have the advantage, and that might just be, at the dying breath of it, the Group 4 Championship.
I think Thunder Pigeon's going to get another penalty for running right through Tete Rouge. Yep. It's now, there's now 2.1 seconds difference in the penalties.
It's not much, but
Dangerous Nip now catching Benji. He's taken 3 seconds out of him this lap.
And I think Road to Fury has started equaling out that gap for Benji. So Benji's really now in a spot of bother here. He's got to fight for this podium with everything he's got. Who has the more fuel advantage here, actually?
It's Benji. Benji has less fuel, but his tyres are on the cliff.
So this is going to be really close to the final few laps.
His tyres are on the cliff, and I think Dangerous Nip is about to push him off it. They are catching Zephyr,
not
but
literally.
I think Zephyr is managing his tyres and fuel perfectly. Neil's now with another 5/10 penalty. You're going to have to, I'm sorry Niels, but you're going to have to work out those penalties if you want to win this race. It's definitely doable. Thunder Pigeon does have a mistake still in him, but Niels needs to just work on. Yeah, Niels needs to work on just not getting penalties, because
he's really been racking this race.
Yeah, he's harming his own race. Like if he gets in front of Thunder Pigeon, he's still gonna have a good 2 seconds more penalties than 2.5 seconds.
Just like to draw your attention, the gap to Road to Fury has gone from 6 seconds to 4.1, and the gap is coming down in a straight line. Road to Fury is fuel saving, and Benji is catching at a rate of knots. But then again, so is Nip. Is he going to get held up actually by a Group 4 here? On the exit, yep, he's going to have to take the line through.
Yep.
That's going to cost him a bit of time.
Benji got held up by the same Group 4 though.
And it might happen again here.
It's going to happen into Mulsanne, yep.
This is really hurting his chances of getting to Road to Fury. Actually, I think he might make it through clean. Yeah, not too bad through there.
That was intelligent by Benji.
Just letting him through. And he's not cost himself that much time either, so he can finally get back to concentrating on getting up to Road to Fury. Second place is absolutely still on here.
Yeah, but it looks like it's more on for Dangerous Nip than it is for Benji.
I don't know, actually, the gap looks to have been evening out the last lap.
No, it's coming down.
Yeah, there it is actually, my bad.
It's now 1.2. It was 1.7 before Mulsanne.
Benji getting a little bit sucked into the gravel there. That might cost him a bit of time on the exit, and indeed it does. Drops half a tenth. That's the wall. That's very close to that wall on that side of Narnage.
Under a second. It's going to be under a second. Yep.
Waiting.
And you're going to see now Dangerous Nip will take a good 3 or 4 tenths out of him through the Porsche curves.
He will get into slipstream range by the time we get onto that main straight.
That being said, they're also closing in on Road to Fury.
Nils now with a 6.2 second penalty. Doesn't look to be erasing any of it.
No, but Thunder Pigeon after losing a second on the exit of Dunlop chicane.
That's a really big error of something.
Yeah, Benji's lost a lot of time on the exits of the Porsche curves.
7/10. That is slipstream range, everyone. We now have a
Less
fight
than
on
that
hands, getting
because
a
he's
bit
lost a
squirrely.
massive amount to the forward chicanes as well.
Ideally, Nip needs to clear him on a straight so that he can go after his own target. I reckon there's 2 more laps to go here. They've crossed the line with 4 minutes. It'll be then the next, and that'll be it.
If I were... No, Zephyr's too far into the lap to slow down.
Yeah, if he slows down, he's going to be costing himself
Nip,
about 20 seconds.
if I were Dangerous Nip now, I would position myself to touch Rouge to get him down the straight, which he will. Yeah,
Here we go, then.
It's going to be done. This is it. He's going to have him.
Now, if Benji fights back here, they're potentially compromising.
No, he's letting them through. He's letting them through.
Yeah.
On comes the right indicator.
Quite sportsmanlike.
He's telling them.
Personally, I wouldn't have done it myself, but he's just going to glide through nice and clean.
I think Benji knows that's it. I think he knows there's nothing he can do.
He's going to talk back into slip. We'll see into the first chicane. No, he's not going to try it.
The tyres are. I think he knows the tyres are dead.
It's got about 5 tenths, and that gap's just going to extend out by about 6 tenths through there. So I think you're right. I think that's it over for Benji.
That's your doubt. And look at the gap to Road to Fury. It's only 1.6 seconds.
Nip, I reckon, has a very good shot here.
Nip is going to finish second. That's my prediction.
You know what? I don't think he's going to have to be in a good fuel map. I don't think Road to Fury is going to make it to the end on fuel. Because you've got this lap and the next. He's only on a quarter now. I think it's going to be tight on fuel, and personally, we've obviously seen some we've seen some awesome fuel saving throughout this. I think it's going to be very close for Road to Fury.
Neil's out to 6.6 on penalties. Thunder Pigeon 2.8.
He's really cost himself. Thunder Pigeon's been wearing them off slightly. Nil's been still racking them up, and crucially, Thunder Pigeon still with that cornering advantage.
Yeah, I think you were right when you said Niels is a bit rattled. That car looks like it's front wheel drive. It looks very, very, very uncontrollable on acceleration.
Maybe it's the could be the weight of the power.
Nip is coming on to
here it is. It's going to be a really easy move for him. Round the outside, as you please. That is it. Now Benji is actually quite close here. He's obviously on the more worn tyre. Gets a bit in the gravel. That might jeopardise it. How can Road to Fury fight?
Road to Fury doing the intelligent thing of burning the penalty. Benji isn't.
I think it's going to cost him ultimately.
So that gap is looking more like 3.2 seconds rather than 1.6.
Now if Zephyr, it's not likely at all. But if Zephyr makes a mistake here, and he runs out of fuel, he's given the race win to Nip, because that fuel looks quite low in my eyes.
I think Nip could win the race. Nip has taken he's taken a second out of Zephyr since he's overtaken Road to Fury, and that's only into Indianapolis.
Personally, I wouldn't say so, because
looking at Zephyr's times, they've been all over the place.
Last lap 3:52, last lap for Nip 3:49. It's a 3-second difference. It's 6 seconds. The tyres are really going to have to come into crucial here. What was his last
Another
lap?
48 for
4
Zephyr.
seconds. 4 seconds gained.
It's closer to 5, I would say.
By
it's
logic,
4.8 seconds.
The next lap, Nip might actually be very close, if not past Zephyr. It's too close to call anything in terms of moves, because obviously we can still see some defensive maneuvers come out.
Championship is over in GR4. Niels has a 7.1 second penalty.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Thunder Pigeon has 4.2, but it's a 5-second gap. It's about 10 seconds of a real gap, I would say. It's Johnny will be the first person to finish the race.
No, it'll be Farron. It's Farron.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, we've already got a finisher in Farron.
Yeah, Farron's done. Zephyr, the gap is now 5.4.
It's trail braking.
5.4. And Nib is pushing like an absolute madman. It's going to be under 4 seconds or under 5 seconds, I would believe. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to get him on the outside. Ooh, actually, Zephyr pulling 2/10 out on the exit there. Shipman getting.
I think
past
that's a bit early to decide that, because back then it comes.
The fuel saving.
Yeah,
thought.
it's gonna be under 5.
Zephyr might get held a bit here. Look.
No, he's gonna take the slipstream.
No, he's getting held on the apex.
He's gonna get held up.
Careful, boys. We don't want to wreck each other's races for anyone. Makes it through nice and cleanly. 4.5 now. Dangerous
And
Nip.
this may help Nip, because I think you'll catch him coming out of
Benji might just get in slipstream range of Road to Fury. He is. Benji's going to get in slipstream range of Road to Fury because of his fuel saving. Benji could still be on for the podium position here.
Yes, but penalties, both have penalties. Benji trying to burn his in the braking zone, not doing it well enough. Need to be lifting off more than that, man.
Gaining a bit on the exit, but it's not enough to clear slipstream. I reckon he might get him into Indianapolis here. How much is Road to Fury's fuel? Road to Fury's fuel is going to run out, I think, personally. That is really low for the area of the track he's currently on.
I think Zephyr will win this race. I think it's... unless he makes a mistake.
Because look where, I believe it's Doc Shipman is. In fact, someone's stopped on track, I believe, Yanni. Doc Shipman, Doc Shipman's going to hold Dangerous Nip a bit.
Why hasn't Yanni crossed the line?
He's just kind of stopped waiting for the race to... Oh, actually, I don't know why he's not stopped the line. It's a weird one. He's kind of stopped there. 3.7 now that Nip has had to
into
clear.
The Porsche curves. Both of them have a similar amount of fuel.
Yeah, Benji's done it. Benji's done it before the Porsche curve. He was into the podium spot.
Yeah. And he has the fuel to get it done, no penalties.
But through all this, possibly the best race has been the one for the Group 4 Championship. And the person that's going to come out victorious is Thunder Pigeon, from 1 point behind to the championship. Awesome race from him.
Fantastically run race. Neil's having issues coming out of the last turn.
Awesome job in the championship. Zephyr comes across the line to win the final race of the season. A dominant season from Zephyr 96. A deserved win here after a few blunders from everyone. He's been the most consistent, the most carryable.
Benji got Road to Fury after.
Yeah, Road to Fury. I think
the last person to cross the line.
And now we see Taz coming through the Porsche curves with the iconic
lap quickly.
The iconic front wheel drive front tyres.
What a comeback.
Fantastic race by Zephyr. He knew what he needed to do, and perhaps for Dangerous Nip, had he have had an extra lap, he may have got him, but looking at fuel levels, it wasn't going to happen.
Zephyr pulled out the consistency when he needed to, and he's won.
Yep. Fantastic race, showing that if you just sit back, relax,
and just let it come to you.
Yep. It will come to you. Other drivers
But now, the overall champion, the Group 3 champion, and the winner of the last round of Season 6. Zephyr 96 takes the final race of the season here in Le Mans. Superb race on the drivers today. Definitely a race of consistency, that one. A lot of consistency and pit strategy playing into it. A really interesting race to watch. A good few battles on track after the initially kind of relaxed atmosphere that the race had before we restarted. But yeah, some great stuff there. Awesome to see how different strategies played out. Right, I believe that is going to be me and Colm signing off for this season.
Yep.
This has been a really fun one to commentate, even if it was just a little bit of the season. it's been really fun watching the season with you, and hopefully we'll be back for season 7. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye.